I'm going to ask you some things, and then maybe if we have time, we'll let some of your fans and admirers ask you some questions as well, if you don't mind. But I'll tell you what I want to start by asking. Now, I know you couldn't see the films there, but you know them pretty well, and you could hear them.
I've seen them before, yes.
I bet you have. Well, no, the reason I ask is that one of the questions I asked Miss Rogers when I got to interview her last year was whether she watched her old movies, and you say that to some actors and actresses, and they say, oh, never. I can't stand to look at myself. But you actually enjoy watching your films, don't you?
Yeah, I enjoy it very much. I think some things are funny.
Well, when you watch one of these films, what is going through your mind? Do you remember the film? Are you watching it removed, or do you remember what was going on when you were making it, or the people, the personalities?
No, I just watched the film. I'm very interested to see what I did in it. I want to know how I reacted.
Do you remove yourself? Does it seem like you're watching a different person?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. No, what I mean is, at this remove of years, I wonder if you remember what you're seeing, or if it seems fresh all over again as you watch it.
Well, it seems fresh to me all over again. Yeah.
Particularly, I wonder what goes through your mind as you watch the great dances. Tonight we saw the Waltz and Swing Time.
I happen to love that waltz. I just love it.
Do you have a favorite of the dance numbers that you did with Fred Astaire?
Well, that is one of the favorites. And then the other one is the one from, I can never remember the name of the film.
We'll help you. Which?
You will?
Yeah.
Well, it's where we do this mock love of.
In Roberta?
Shall We Dance? Was it Shall We Dance?
Continental.
No, not the Continental.
No, not Roberta. Not Roberta, Roberta. My secretary's name is Roberta.
Well, you mentioned Waltz and Swing Time. Why are you fond of that one in particular?
I love waltzes. I think waltzes are so beautiful, and I don't understand why people don't ever waltz. Waltzes are so lovely, and you should learn to do them. Yes. They're such fun to do, but they're such fun to watch.
They're so graceful.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the two things struck me in reading your book last year. One was that I don't think you've ever forgotten a great dress or a great costume that you've worn. And the other is that you are very particular about men's ability to dance. That rates very high in your book among attributes, doesn't it?
Yes, the editor of my book, she was very particular about that. She said, you should say who dances well and who doesn't. But she asked me a question I would never put in the book and never answer it. She said, who's the best kisser in Hollywood? As if I would know.
What is it the same? Is ballroom dancing or social dancing very different from screen dancing?
Well, when you break into taps, yes.
Obviously.
You have to do a lot of pounding to get those taps going, you know. They don't always come as evenly as they should.
You would redo those, wouldn't you, for the soundtrack after you'd photographed?
They tell me that they do them up in the booth. I don't know who does it, but I don't. My taps were really all there, and I was very sad to hear somebody say, "Oh, we had to do those over again." I said, "You didn't do my taps." He said, "No." I said, "Well, whose taps did you do? You couldn't have done Fred's." So we've had some arguments about that.
What is it about dancing? Again, because it's something that was very much on your mind. Would you be more comfortable putting those down?
No, I'd be happy to carry it.
Great.
Makes me feel like I'm going to a party or to a wedding.
Are there men who were not musically inclined particularly, but just had a gift for dancing?
Well, they can't count. You have to be able to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and people can't do it. And some drummers I've met in the orchestra could beat out one whale of a beat, not with their feet at all.
Oh, interesting.
They look like a clod.
When you stopped, when you and Fred Astaire parted company on screen, and you went on to make all the comedies and dramatic pictures that you did in the 40s, there was you had very little musical activity after that. You did Lady in the Dark, and then you reunited with Fred Astaire and Barclays at Broadway. Did you want to do any other solo musical films, or was that something you wanted to get away from then?
Well, I wanted to get away from them. I wanted to do things like Kitty Foyle, like Storm Warning. I wanted to do things like that. Thank you. One person I know saw it.
Well, you did some of those films you made in the 50s, some of those dramatic films are very. Tight Spot is a very good film, too.
Yeah, Tight Spot was a fun picture to do. I was working with a very professional man, Robertson, and the leading man was new to me, too. I had never known him before. What's his name?
You mean Brian Keith?
Yeah, Brian Keith. That's a joke.
The other thing, as I mentioned, that obviously something that you have an excellent memory for is the great costumes you got to wear over the years. Did you have a favorite costumer?
Costumer?
Mm-hmm. Designer?
Yes, well, I think I liked Edith Head very much. Very much. And I liked the lady from MGM.
Helen Rose?
Helen Rose. Well, she didn't do too many of the things. The other one. Irene, yeah, Irene was a favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm. Did you participate in designing any of your costumes? I know you had strong feelings about what you liked. And
yes,
didn't
the
like.
feather dress was my design, really.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You know, the thing about the feather dress in the movie was, or before the movie, he said, what kind of a dress would you like to wear? So I said, I would like it to be like this at the top and way down the back, but I want feathers on the sides of my back and on my hips and all clear to the floor. So as I was telling him, he was sketching it. And Bernard Newman, a very talented man, very. I had met him a few years before, and it was on that particular, when I met him, he influenced me to buy a real fur coat, which I had never had before in my life. And so he said, buy a mink coat, you need one. So I did, and I got home, and you know what it says in the book. So I got there, I went around to the studio showing my beautiful coat off to everybody, and I looked up and I said, Bill Sider up there. And so a head came out. It was George Stevens' head. He said, hello. And then Katharine Hepburn's head came out, and she took it, and she poured this on my coat. And she said, if it's real mink, it won't shrink.